Manhood Neat podcast. We are back in the bunker. We got the four of us. Unfortunately, Benson is still in the DR, and we still do not have communication with him. But we got Dylan.
What up?
We got Ben Lewis.
Thanks for having me. Miss you, Ben.
And Rob.
I miss you, Ben.
Yeah. Benson, you are missed. You are loved. But we know you're doing the Lord's work. So,
amen.
I also miss you.
Yeah. So, guys, welcome to the podcast, Manhood Neat podcast, that is. And if you would like to help us out, you could you could subscribe, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars is the appropriate amount of stars, but if you don't think we deserve that, you can give us 4.
No, just 5.
We gotta
Just
earn
5?
Just 5.
You gotta earn it.
But yeah, if you could leave a review, that helps us out so much with the algorithms. I don't know how, but it does. But anyways, thank you for joining us. You can also reach out. You can join us on the Twitters. Just search at Manhood Neat. Or you can email us at manhood.neat@gmail.com, manhood.neat@gmail.com, or info@manhoodneat.com, info@manhoodneat.com. Gentlemen, I have a question for you that's been just burning on my mind for the last week since we last talked.
Ooh. Sounds juicy.
It is kind of juicy. I need to know 2 things from you.
Uh-oh.
That's 2 questions.
Yeah.
No, it's 1 question, 2 parts. 1 question, 2 parts. What is your favorite caliber? All right. And what firearm do you prefer to shoot that caliber out of?
Ooh.
We're going to start with Rob.
Favorite caliber.
This is
It could be any
caliber, and this is purely for shooting. Just you're going to the range and you're shooting,
Oh, wow.
and it's free. You're shooting for free for the day.
Ooh, free for the day. Honestly, I like a 45.
Okay.
And I have a Kimber compact that I like. Shoots really nice, 45, 1911.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's, I don't know, just something about that round. Just enough where it's just a little more report than a 9.
Right.
So you know it's there. And I don't know.
And also with the 45, you have time to take off your glasses and listen for the
Yeah.
for the hit.
Listen for the smack.
So that Kimber compact, is that a 4-inch or is that a 3.5?
It's 3.5.
3.5.
Yep.
Right. Ben Lewis, you're on.
It would be a pistol for me. I enjoy shooting pistols over rifles at the range anyway. Every pistol I have is a 9mm.
Every single one.
I'm boring. I'm going to say 9mm. I like the 45, Rob. I mean, I think that's just kind of a whole different recoil. It's more straight back at you. It's kind of just slow and easy, like boom, not a snap like a 40 or maybe some 9s. But I like shooting 9.
What? Okay, so we got the caliber. What's the firearm?
The firearm I like to shoot is probably the one that I have on me all the time, and that's just a old school baby Glock
26.
Yeah,
I heard you just got one of those.
I did.
Or a second one.
I bought one. I totally hosed a guy out of one. It was great.
Nice.
So that deal went
Those are
through,
the best
huh?
kinds.
Yeah, you snooze, you lose, bro.
Fair enough.
Man. You're just finding out about this now.
I'm just finding out about this now. I actually just talked to my wife about it last week too. So
we can talk about it. I upgraded a bunch of stuff. You'll dig it.
I'm sure. Honestly, my favorite caliber will be a 17 caliber long rifle.
HMR? 17 HMR? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. I loved shooting an old school Sterling or Marlin. Sorry, a Marlin 17 caliber rifle. We used to maybe illegally go to a prairie dog field and pick them off with that back in the day. And it was just one of the most fun things in the world to do because there was a prairie dog reserve just south of my house. And the fun thing about that thing was it was quiet, had a little bit more kick than a 22, and it had a heck of a lot more power behind it than a 22. And
it's a good coyote.
It's
a very good coyote gun. It's also very good at, I'm not going to say that I can confirm or deny that I poached deer in the middle of the night with it, but things have happened with deer and a gun similar to that, or a rifle similar to that. So that would probably be, honestly, my most favorite caliber because it's one you can take kids to go do things with. It's one that you can get your kids started with, and it's not just going to scare the bejeebers out of them right away.
True.
And like I said, there's a little more oomph behind it than there is a 22.
Okay. So I'm actually kind of mixing two of your guys's. So
do you
if I'm just going to the range just to put bullets down range, right, enjoy it. I like the 9mm, but I like the 1911.
Ooh, yeah.
So I got a Springfield Ronin series, which is a 9mm 1911, and that thing is a laser gun because you have the weight of the 1911,
Yeah.
you got the trigger pull of the 1911, but you got the 9mm recoil, so you can just keep it on target. I mean, you don't have that.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's mine.
I was with you when you bought that.
You were with me, and I believe you bought a German gun at the same time.
Yeah, I like the German and Austrian stuff.
Yeah, a little HK action.
I also have a
Oh.
German gun. Might be my
That-
my most favorite gun of all time, but for favorite caliber, probably not. But what did the Nazis shoot back in World War II? What was their caliber?
9mm.
Rifle.
Oh, rifle.
Because it's no longer that.
A 30
It had to be bored out to a 308.
It's an old Mauser then.
It's, I don't know if,
Is it bolt action?
yes.
It's a Mauser. Or it's at least a Mauser action. I don't know what their round was.
I don't know either.
My grandfather, I don't know how he got it. I don't know if
Everything from World War II is bored out the 308.
Yeah.
Because I got an old,
30 caliber.
what was the British round during World War II? It's real slow. Is the 30?
276.
No, 30 British, 3 something. But so when they after World War, might have been World War One. I can't remember which war it was. They sold their guns to India. And then India, so it's a something Ishapur, they call it now, when they actually boarded it out to 308. But it's a really cool gun. It's just basically a English Mauser. I mean, all the great bolt actions are Mauser, right? So,
My
I'll take your word
grandfather
for it.
gave it to me. It has the swastika and the phoenix
oh, that's why you like it so much.
stamped on the
You like this-
rifle.
you like the
I'm
swastika?
alt-right as alt-right
Cancel.
gets. No,
Cancel.
it's just the
history of it.
the history of it, and it kicks like a mule. Like I was a little kid when he was getting me on that, and he's like, "We're gonna go out to the river and shoot some sticks out of the middle of the river." He'd take his pontoon boat out and put these like large corn stalks with corn ears, and he's like, "All right, you're gonna zero this in for me." And I'd be sitting on a picnic table, no lead sled, no nothing like that, and he's like, "It's gonna bite a little bit," and by bite he means knock you on your butt 4 feet back behind when you're 85 pounds.
I got
It was
a
a fun gun.
I got a Mosin Nagant 1891. My wife bought me for our second anniversary, I think, and I took it in, and it's actually matching the stock and the barrel's got matching numbers, which is rare. So it's not a retooled. It's a 1913 production,
Wow.
so it's pre-World War I, and it kicks like a mule
That's
too.
funny. I got a shotgun 1913.
Do you?
Yeah.
Who made that?
Remington.
Oh, nice.
What my grandpa gave me. It's cool.
I
Sweet.
have a Weatherby 16 gauge. Weatherby doesn't make 16 gauges anymore.
I got nothing.
No, that's not true.
You got a load
You've
of
got a bunch
pistols.
of
I don't
HKs,
have a
yeah.
single pistol.
So, all right. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. All right. We do have a
question.
bottle. We have a bottle here tonight, right?
We do?
And this bottle is Moonrise Distillery Georgia Select Bourbon Whiskey. It's a born and raised in Rabun County, Georgia. 90 proof. I see the back here says distilled and bottled by Moonrise Distillery, Clayton, Georgia. Has your standard government warning, and that is all the information it has. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this. We'll let it breathe, and we'll jump into our sponsor. And a little pour.
Ooh.
Nice.
All right, let's jump into our sponsor for tonight. All right, guys, this bottle is brought to us by none other than Nate Noller. And actually, he's my older brother.
I assume he's the handsome one then too.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's actually it's well known in our family that my older brother got all the looks.
And the brains, apparently.
No, you're not listening. My older brother got all the looks. My younger brother got all the brains, and I'm stuck somewhere in the middle. And there's two ways you can look at that. It's either I'm giving both a compliment, or I'm saying that my older brother's stupid, my younger brother's ugly. But whatever. So, but no. So Nate, thank you for the.
Thank you, Nate.
Yep, thanks for the bottle.
Thanks, Nate.
Nate's a good guy.
Can we call him Nate?
Great
Dog?
guy.
He's the best guy. Thanks, Nate.
Thanks,
You
Nate.
the man. What's that, Rob?
So can we call him Nate Dog?
You can call him Nate Dog. Actually, his online name is Nateezy.
Nate Easy.
Nate, he's
I was going to say N8er.
I think that name needs to stay online.
All right. Thanks, Nate. All right, guys. So for this this Moonrise Distillery Georgia Bourbon whiskey. What's on the palate?
Well, the nose smells good caramel. Did you get it in your nose?
Yeah, I just poured it literally in my nose.
Well, that's not the way you're supposed to drink that.
That kind of burns
Just
you
so
out.
you know.
I got maple.
I'm like maple. Yeah.
A lot of
Pancakes.
maple.
Maple intake. Okay.
And pancakes.
Yeah. Maple. I had some vanilla.
Yeah.
A little vanilla in there.
Yeah, it's good.
It's live, folks.
Coats the glass, all right. Subpar on that.
It is a 90 proof, if I didn't mention that.
Get a little bit like on the taste.
Is Nate a high proof guy like you? Or is
He is. Yeah. He's moved up to be a snob like I am for the higher proof.
It hits you really hard in the mouth at the beginning, like it's gonna be a higher proof, but then dies instantly.
Yeah, to me, I'm still I get vanilla and graham cracker and cinnamon
I
on
get
the
cinnamon.
taste.
If graham cracker's maple syrup, then yeah, I agree with you. Graham cracker all the way. But
I was getting some spearmint.
Yeah, on the finish.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm getting onion rings.
Finish is good.
Onion rings.
I do not know the mash bill of this. I do know it's a 4-grain mash, which is pretty unique for a bourbon.
The flavor to me is way more complex. I'm not skilled enough to say like, oh, I can pick this out. Like I always joke that you're the bloodhound of the group because you can just smell stuff out and you can taste stuff out that I can't even begin, Rob. But
It's just pausing and thinking about it.
yeah, I don't do good at thinking, obviously.
Yeah, it's
It's not real oaky.
no, it's not. There's not a lot of wood finish.
No.
The finish is pretty much pure spearmint
Yeah.
because it's a sweet mint. I mean,
Yeah.
it's there. And on the front side, I still get that caramel, the vanilla, your standard bourbons. I am getting like graham a little bit. It's just it's good. It starts complex.
Yeah.
It kind of
And it
finishes easy.
finishes. Yeah.
Which is different than some bourbons start easy and finish complex.
Yeah.
But this one's kind of the reverse. It's got a good color to it.
It's got a very good color to it. It doesn't linger too long. Doesn't dry your mouth out too fast either, though. It's like it's an Aaron Noller of whiskeys. You know, it's right in the middle.
It doesn't
according
dry
to
you out.
himself.
Right in the middle. It doesn't dry your mouth out.
Somewhere between Nate and his younger
Somewhere
brother.
between Nate and
Yeah.
your brother. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Danny, my little brother. Yeah.
Okay, Danny.
So, all right, Lewis, what is your score on this?
My score on this is a 64.
64. Oops, my bad.
Nerd alert! Hey!
I should learn the buttons.
No doubt.
All right, Dylan, what is the problem? Is I play with it during
Am
the
I
week.
sponsoring or am I nerding out?
Sorry, hold on. We'll start over. So the problem is I play with the buttons during the week, and I should just mark them, but
Yes.
I don't like writing on things because then it's
Use a piece of tape.
You love writing on things. Have you seen yourself write on a whiteboard?
no, I haven't. Talking about Sunday school.
Video
Yes.
that tomorrow.
All right, so we'll try this again.
Hey! That's pretty good.
All right, Dylan, what's our score for this?
I am going to be right there with Ben. I'm going to do a 65. I like the complexity because it makes you want to drink it a little more. I am not a proof snob like you, so I don't mind the smoothness of it. I did like how it gave you a bite right at the beginning. You're like, "Ooh, this is going to clear your nostrils," but then it
doesn't.
immediately tames down. So it's kind of a pleasant treat on that. And I love maple syrup, and dude, I'm just tasting that the whole time.
I love some maple syrup.
I'm not Canadian, but I do
Liz can
appreciate
make
it.
us some pancakes or something.
Yeah.
Quick.
Rob, what do you think? On
Kidding. He is
Yeah,
smart.
I'd agree. It's just a good up front, good in the palate bourbon to enjoy. Nice. I like that finish. Just it doesn't leave you going, wow, sometimes you have to keep drinking to get away from that what the palate's leaving you. So I'd probably give it a 64.
Yeah, the old one not the old one. The one from last episode got better as time went on. This is very consistent through and through.
Yeah.
Right up front.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same ballpark you guys are. I like it. It's funny, like I think it's just because it says George in the name, but as I've been tasting it more, I get a little more pecan pie. But I'm like, that's gotta be placebo, right?
Yeah, it's totally.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 61. So it's, again, 50 is average. So we're 10 to 12 points above average.
We've only had one below average.
Yeah. It shall not be.
We
named.
bring
It
that
shall
up.
not be
We
named.
bring that up.
The
every
bourbon
episode.
shall not be named.
So we had one close to average though.
Kirkland's.
Kirkland's.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yep.
That one was still so pleasantly surprising.
All right.
Good.
I mean, again, average shouldn't be a bad deal if the price is right.
I say for $20.
Yeah, average is
Right.
not too bad. So yeah,
I would do it that
so
way.
this Moonrise Distillery Georgia Distiller Select Bourbon Whiskey, it's pretty good.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Now the nice thing is, guys, is both the last two episodes, the bourbons that we can't really get here in Nebraska. So thank you to our sponsors for sending them to us.
Appreciate you guys.
They were bootlegged here via motorcycle. So
Ooh,
yeah, it adds a little extra flavor, right?
breaking the law.
That's right.
well, now
westbound now.
my score went to a 66.
there you go. Yeah.
Keep the emotion out of this, man.
I can't help it. I'm a weak man.
Weak man. All right, so I said I got another question before we get into our main discussion.
Here we go.
No, it's just been it's been a rough week, guys. You know, it's just been one of those weeks where everything doesn't work. I have the buttons not memorized. Rob's making fun of me. Ben's, just
Being Ben.
Sunday
Benny
school
Ben.
answers.
Yeah. And then Benson is in the DR playing on the beach. It's been a rough week. So my other question is, when you've had a bad week, right? Like nothing's going good. Like you just want to quit your job. You want to like punch Ben in the face. It's just been a bad week.
What if I got a
which Ben?
punchable face or something?
Dude, you have no idea.
Yeah, you bring it.
There's something about your suck hole. I just want to.
Speaking of
Get
punchable,
hit 4 times before you can realize you're in a fight.
yeah. Speaking of punchable
Because
faces,
I got all air up here.
right? So when you've had a bad week, you've got 2.5 hours that it's just you time. You got some good bourbon. What is your go-to make me feel better movie?
Oh,
Make me feel better movie?
Yeah, so it could be like, so to me, if I'm gonna if I want to feel better, I'm gonna watch a war movie, right? Like that's my thing. 'Cause-
ooh, mine's For the Love of the Game with Kevin Costner. Any Kevin Costner baseball movie.
Did he just choose a chick flick for his?
Wow.
feel better?
No, are you kidding me? There's nothing more romantic on the planet Earth than baseball right now, and For the Love of the Game is one of the most romantic things. Baseball is romantically beautiful as a man.
I love baseball movies. I'm going to give you that.
Yeah,
I mean,
No.
For the Love of the Game. Is
but
amazing.
I don't want to cry through the movie that is going to make
You just
me
feel
better
great.
on
Or the
Friday.
rookie. The rookie right up there
So what
with
we
it.
learned is that when Dylan's having a bad week, he goes home, he pours himself a glass of rosé, and he watches For the Love of the Game, and he cries himself to sleep.
Also not true. If I'm having a bad week, I like to lift weights and I like to listen to not good music. But that's just me personally. I know it doesn't look like it, but I am prime physical specimen here.
You are.
For a male.
No doubt.
Ladies, it's not what you want, but it's what you get. So
All right, Rob, what's your go-to movie here?
So if you're talking like I've had a bad week and I want something that makes me feel better, it's not the whole movie, but it's a couple scenes in the movie for sure. But the whole movie's good. It's Patriot.
Oh yeah.
ooh, any Mel Gibson.
Like when he's had
movie,
a bad, all of a sudden he's had a bad day.
Oh, you talking about the first scene in the woods?
right near the beginning.
like
yes.
when Heath Ledger gets shot.
no, when his no, not when this is the beginning when his younger boy gets
Oh,
shot.
okay, yeah.
And he goes in
says-
the woods and you see the smoke.
And
Yeah.
he's like, "Let's go, boys."
And he runs in with yes.
Dude,
Aim small,
Braveheart,
miss small.
too.
exactly.
Good movie.
That whole scene, I'm like, that's somebody taking care of a bad day.
All right, Lewis.
Well, if I had a bad day this week, or bad week this week, so Friday, about 5 o'clock, I went and ran myself a nice warm bath and put some candles out, and I put in John Wick.
That
And,
a baby.
He had a bad day.
Which one?
The first one.
Okay.
man.
Okay.
Requiem was
mean-
also an amazing movie, though.
I'll watch them all.
Okay. Yeah, the wicks are
The
good.
water gets cold, but I'll still watch them.
Dude, I like the the second episode the second John Wick. The storyline is not near as good as the first.
Yeah.
The third one's amazing, though.
No,
I love
it's the
the third
worst
one.
one.
The second
No.
one has probably the
Best gun scene.
in the catacombs.
The opening
Yes.
fight
Yeah, yeah,
choreography inside of the library with the giant that then goes to the like antique knife section in the third one. That's amazing.
So the third one, I get ruined at the end. Like that end fight
Yeah,
scene is
that
too
felt like
long,
forever.
and there's no guns.
But it sets it up for the fourth one.
and he's totally just ripping off an old Bruce Lee movie.
Yes.
where he ended up fighting
Okay,
Kareem
but-
Abdul-Jabbar and everybody else.
He also does that in The Matrix. He rips off all Bruce Lee things in The Matrix, which is an amazing movie,
Hey,
and we've
dude.
agreed to
Hey,
this.
he knows kung fu.
He does.
Yeah, yeah. So mine, I got two. I really liked Black Hawk Down.
That's a great movie.
Until parts of
I
it.
haven't seen that in a while. I need to watch it again.
And Top Gun.
No, never.
I won't say
It's only
never.
because
Top Gun's good.
I worked on F-14, so I just can't watch that movie.
No. Well, the second one, it's F-18s. When it comes out.
Oh, the second one?
I don't
So-
think any instructors look like Charlie either. I'm just saying.
No. Well, first of all, like,
None.
how many, like they don't bring in civilian
I'm guessing.
women to, like, teach. Yeah. That's kind of fake.
No, that whole movie.
It's fake.
Because
That movie
I watched
has-
it before I joined the Navy, and then then I get all of a sudden I get stuck on a carrier working on F-14s. I'm like, absolutely nothing in that movie happened in real life.
No, the F-14s actually do take off of carriers.
You telling me
They-
guys don't
yeah.
oil themselves up and play volleyball
Yeah, you didn't play
in jean
volleyball?
shorts?
It is
Shirt
the
off?
Navy.
None of it. And I actually went to Miramar too, where they filmed that movie,
It's a
and there's none of that there.
It's a questionable
it's just
movie.
A desert.
And now it's not even there.
nothingness.
It's closed.
Well, it is now. It was open still when I was there.
Okay.
it's a very questionable movie.
Yeah, but the soundtrack's really good.
The soundtrack, I'll give you that.
So you're just
Sure.
looking for
Kenny Loggins
violence
is great.
At the end of
And
the
the
week?
and the plane
think about
the
it.
footage is good. The plane footage is great.
You know what I appreciate too back in that day? You had one guy that made all the songs for a movie back then.
Kenny
Yeah.
Loggins was great.
Kenny Loggins. Or
and no CGI.
yeah, think about what's the movie Stephen King movie where the trucks go out and kill people and all that.
Something Overdrive.
So yeah, all AC/DC songs.
Yes.
Oh, that was great.
So what I love about
I'm like, this is great.
the dumbest thing to me about Top Gun is every engagement apparently is one airplane flying straight down at the other. Because whenever they show the other plane on the HUD, it's like the top of it. Yeah, I'm like, no aerial
Nobody
combat
does.
is
Nothing.
top down. Yeah, it's stupid, but it's a great movie.
we all know how effective Russian MiGs are.
We got the T-38s. Yeah, just so you know, the bad guys in Top Gun are not MiGs. They're T-38s. They're what the Air Force uses for training. Yeah. So or aggressors.
Sorry to ruin it for you people.
Yeah.
There.
Well,
Spoiler alert.
So is everybody looking for violence in a movie at the end
Yes,
of the week?
yeah.
Except for
Apparently not me.
yeah,
I'm just
No,
looking for
he
a good
cuts his hand off.
strikeout.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for a good strikeout.
You're looking for a guy who's like, I guess it makes more sense for Dylan's because at the end of the end of a bad week, you just want to quit, and that's what happens in For Love of the Game. The guy quits.
Just quits.
Sorry, Dylan.
It's all good. I
Just want somebody to
I love
affirm
baseball
me.
movies, and hockey movies as well.
like-
Hockey
So is your second
movies.
is your second favorite movie Summer Catch?
What's your favorite hockey movie then?
My favorite hockey
Goon.
movie. Well,
No, what's the one with the
Slapshot.
Slapshot. No, Miracle is probably, if I want to have like a feel good hockey movie, Miracle, obviously, because we destroy the Soviets in that one.
Do you know that? But the thing is like the Miracle movie's good, but you forget that was not the championships.
No, but it doesn't matter. It was
We beat Russia.
Cold War era.
Bunch of teenagers.
You know what's funny about that movie
Norway-
compared to today?
Norway?
America wins.
They won then too.
No, that's what I'm saying. We would not today. America would not win today.
You don't think we'd win hockey because we don't have Alexander Ovechkin?
No, I'm saying we wouldn't win the Cold War.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. No, we would not.
No.
No.
How about Youngblood? You ever seen Youngblood?
I don't know if
I've heard the song.
Oh, that's a good old movie.
Really?
It's a little rough in parts. You'll
All right, we are kind of
Like 1988 old or what?
Yeah.
Let's rein it back in,
Okay.
guys.
bring it back in.
Rein it back.
All right. So we actually do have a topic of discussion tonight.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
I thought it was just movies.
Just
Besides
B rating Dylan for his poor movie selection. 300. That's my favorite
Actually,
movie
it-
when I'm having a bad day.
So B rating Dylan actually is kind of the topic
Oh, my generation.
because the topic
Gosh, dang it.
is iron sharpening iron.
Oh.
You trying to say I'm aluminum?
No, I'm trying to say that you need some sharpening, bro.
Ouch.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be mad
I
about
did
that.
So
We all do.
Ben, you're the sharpest. You're obsidian.
Not even close.
Ben, what do I mean by when I say iron sharpens iron?
I think you got
In
to
a
have
biblical
well,
context.
I mean, we got to challenge each other to learn. We got to challenge each other to grow our faith. We got to challenge each other to get in the Word.
Oh, that's more bourbon?
I want to try it a little bit more. I want to see if it gets
Way
better.
off there or what?
No, I think you're right.
Everybody just ignores Ben. What did you say?
I'm out.
What did you say, Lewis?
We're just looking at the bourbon.
We're all thinking about the bourbon.
Yeah.
No,
I'll punch
so
it
no, I think
down.
you're right, Ben. Is that we are called to encourage, instruct each other to more focus in on what Christ has called us to do, the gospel, right? But why? How does it work? Because I mean, obviously, does it have to be a more learned Christian to a less learned Christian for iron sharpen iron?
Accountability.
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 I mean, because iron is, I mean, if you think about the actual term iron sharpens iron, iron is no stronger than iron. Iron is no greater than iron, but iron sharpening iron is holding the other one accountable. It's using itself in a way to make the other iron better. So no, it does not mean a better, more educated, more. It's great if that's a bonus, if that's the thing, but it's more about accountability than anything.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There's, man, how would you? Yeah, holding accountable, but also that challenging each other, right? The keeping each other accountable. That's the only thing that comes to mind is that
I think spurring on.
There you go. That's good. There you go. That's good.
I would agree too. Like it takes a lot of different philosophies and ideas and different experiences to see something different. Like just a simple idea of studying the Bible, right? I mean, you can just keep peeling and see something different. And Dylan sees something different than I do. And Rob sees something different than I do. You know, all of you do. Shout out again to Pastor Kurt's Bible study, where we're just peeling the onion and seeing what it tells us. And if you just keep digging, you're going to find that. And you need a bunch of people to keep digging, because I'm fairly shallow myself, unfortunately. And
What?
as far as my biblical knowledge, I got a lot of ways to go here.
Like, calm down. You ain't shallow.
Well, you're hitting something there, because that, like when you're talking in a study,
Thank you,
right,
Dylan.
versus a teaching, right, where somebody's teaching and you're just kind of absorbing what they're telling you. Mm-hmm. To sit back and actually, when you're reading through the Word and actually asking each other questions, like I see this. It's almost like when we're tasting bourbon, right? We're like, I taste this, you taste that, and they'll, okay, yeah, I can see that. Like, we're kind of starting to not agree, like trying to agree with each other, but we're trying to pull out of it what each person is seeing in it, right? And that's kind of what that
Palate sharpening palates.
Yeah, palate sharpening palates. Palate sharpening palates, exactly.
No.
But a little like that in our Word, when we're reading the Word, how we can each come, and it's also depending on how the Word talks, right? It talks to you, it talks to us in our situations. There is context around what we read, and we definitely want to read it within context. But a lot of times, and I think everybody would agree, that sometimes you can read a scripture one day and it totally speaks to you in one way, and another day you read it and it totally speaks to you in a different way. And that having that other perspective from another person that you're sharpening, right? Or you're sharpening each other. I'm seeing this, you're seeing that. Well, what's going on in your life that's
Right.
making you say that, and vice versa? And just that whole conversation can just grow you, like a 15-minute conversation can grow you like nothing, no other.
Yeah, and I think it's that, and then we all have natural blind spots.
Yeah.
So we, in our strengths and our blind spots.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So our strengths and our
All you
blind
guys wear
spots,
glasses.
Yeah.
You guys are all naturally blind.
but they counterset, right? So like my strengths are generally not, if it's not a true 180, but pretty close to a 180 for my blind spot. And so, and if I had got a brother who's the opposite of that, how much more they can teach me, and vice versa, because we can see those differences. And so areas that I might, like, for instance, just to be honest, like I have a really big blind spots to people's feelings. I don't care about them, right?
You do?
Yeah, a little bit. So
I'm just crying over
Are
here.
you saying facts
talking
don't
about
care
punching me in
about
the
their
face and
feelings?
stuff?
Yeah.
but and so pow, like in this is true in marriage just as much as it is with like friendship with guys. So my wife, she balances me out in that. She can be like, yeah, you're kind of being a dork or being a jerk or both.
Is that the word she uses too?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
So, and that, but then at the same time, like, I got strengths here and there, and
Definitely.
and they can help balance that out. And so if we have Christian brothers who walk into our lives, and even if we have similar like personality strengths, we're going to have different biblical strengths and different blind spots in our own character, and we can point that out. And the thing about iron sharpening iron, before we go any farther into this, the biggest thing that has to happen is iron doesn't sharpen iron unless they're both on the same purpose, right? Because you take two swords and clang them against each other, does that sharpen them or does that dull them?
So they're on the same plane, I think is what you mean. Sorry, not.
Yeah.
I'm being an idiot. Sorry.
It's all right. It happens.
There's that kindness. And
There it is.
There it is. No,
It's all good.
no.
Don't hurt my feelings.
I just mean like, yeah, but like you got to be on the same, like, I don't know metalworking terminology, but I know that there's a certain angle you got to run your blades together to sharpen, right? And if you go 90 degrees and hit each other, it just dulls it. And so it's the same thing too with like friendship. You've got to be on a common path to worship God and to glorify Him and to serve Him and to be efficient tools for Him to sharpen each other. But when you do, so if once that relationship is understood and what the purpose of that end goal is, then that relationship can sharpen each other.
Yeah.
that's got to be one of the central reasons that we're called to like have fellowship, and to affirm each other and to grow each other and to strengthen each other. I talk to plenty of people who think they can just do that at home, and just I'm just going to grow my faith, and I don't need to go to church. I don't need to have anybody else. That's a tougher road for me anyway.
Do you think that the iron sharpen iron can also mean that, I was thinking this when you were talking about it, that you're able to because you're getting to somebody, like you said, that's of the same hardness, right? And what I mean by, because it's iron and iron, not iron and wood or iron and some other material, but because it's iron and iron, and now I can come at you in a way and let you know what you're saying or what you're doing maybe doesn't line up with Scripture, or the way you're acting is out of line. And because we're both iron, I can say it to you in such a way, and you're not going to take it as offensive. You're not going to take it as hurtful, right? Because it didn't hurt. It bounces, it clangs off, if you will, iron on iron, and it's able to sharpen you in that way that we're, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's what I'm
right.
trying to get at, is we're able to communicate our faults with each other, if you will, without it hurting deeply.
Like there's got to be a mutual trust and a
Yes,
friendship.
there
And
you
like,
go.
you don't just go up to somebody on the street and be like, "Hey, you know what? You're doing this wrong."
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
just
you don't
start
give other
clanging iron.
people that aren't your friends
Yeah,
constructive
it would just be like,
criticism.
Right.
like even in our own church, there's a lot of people I wouldn't just walk up to and be like, you know what, I saw something you did and I really don't agree with that, and I might be doing it in a loving way, but because we haven't developed that iron relationship, it's going to cut them, right? Or
Yeah.
it could cut them, and it could make them, and it happens all the time in the church, right? Where somebody says something to somebody without really making sure that we're both on the same plane, to your point, right, of sharpening iron before we do that. And all of a sudden you've cut it. And now there's a rift, there's, enmity between each other, and there's fights and division and just
Unwarranted advice is just criticism.
yeah.
Well, and sharpening does remove metal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like there's going to be, and so the person being sharpened is giving up something. Like there's change happening.
But both are.
But both are, yeah. And so you're right. If I got the proper relationship with somebody, I could be like, Dylan, dude, like you're kind of being a Rodney about this,
And I would take it wholeheartedly.
right? Or and vice versa, right? You could come to me and say that, but I can't go into the service and be like, hey, dude over there, stop being a Rodney. One, he won't know what it means,
Right.
but
He'd be like, who the heck's Rodney?
yeah,
It'd be like, if you listen to our podcast, you'd know.
that's right.
That's right.
And you'd be sharper.
Catch up.
You'd be a lot sharper.
Yeah.
Well, that's questionable.
That's questionable. That's true. So it is important. We are called to sharpen each other. I mean, I
Right.
think that's biblical. And I think that's why. And I think that in the church we maybe small C church,
Small C church.
small
The
C
church.
the church,
Not
the
the
church,
congregation, the church.
not the yeah. I do think that there are like in a lot of churches around the United States, the idea of fellowship is getting together, having a potluck, and just being friends. Where the true identity of fellowship is spurring each other on in love and community for God's kingdom, for the glory of God.
You know what I've heard at churches? Was it
Wait,
church-
churches or churches?
churches, and I mean the congregations.
Okay.
And some where they talk, when you hear people talk about, I like a church, but there seems to be a clique there's cliques within the church, or there's little groups that get together, and there's no outsiders allowed. Not that that's maybe what they're doing, but at the same time there is, right? There's this group that maybe
They're just comfortable with each other.
exactly, and that's what I'm getting at is, while on one side of the coin people are not condemning it, but they really are like, this just doesn't seem right. And the other side, we're talking about we need that, right? We need that
Sure.
that group that we can go and depend on and rely on and lean on and be in. Now, it should be, in a sense of Christianity, we should be able to do that with anybody, right? Within the Christian faith. That's the way, that's the ultimate, what it should be. Is it that way? Probably not, right? But so it's almost, I'm not saying it's a good thing to have cliques, but it's,
We don't naturally vibe with everybody, though.
exactly. No, I know. I'm just saying, I'm not saying we naturally vibe with everybody, but to see that a church does have closeness in groups, even if they're small groups, might be a good thing.
Well, I think it's impossible
I
for us to
agree.
have true, like, Jonathan type relationships.
Yeah.
With a very, I mean, it's gonna be a very small group of people you have that
Right.
with. It's just you don't have the time, you don't have the energy, you don't have the emotion,
Right.
to have that with a lot of people.
Right.
You just don't. Doesn't mean you don't care for everybody in the congregation, but there's going to be a subset that you are very close to, and a subset of that subset that you're extremely close to.
Well, how do we help the people though that feel like they're the outsider though? That's a good, that's a question too.
That's on themselves.
We put all the outsiders together.
No, okay. So I am that outsider who came into this church with no friends, no connections to anybody here. And then,
Because you watch baseball movies.
well, fair enough. I'm not going to argue that.
Sorry.
So Angels in the Outfield, great. So calm down.
You're part of the gang. Don't.
No, but like,
Isn't that Gordon Love Hewitt or everything?
no, Joseph Goat or
Sorry.
Gordon Joseph Levitt. Is that? No, it's not him.
It's Robin.
It's somebody else. No, it's not. It's not him.
Yes, it is. It's the
No,
guy that
it's-
plays Robin in the Dark Knight
Ain't-
Rises.
No, it's. I promise it's not.
He was in Third Rock in the Sun.
It's not him.
This is iron sharpening iron.
It is him.
Totally.
You know what?
Look it up.
We're
Yeah,
gonna do-
IMDb it right now.
Nerd
I'm
alert.
going to right
Nerd
now.
alert.
But oh, now I forgot what I was saying.
You're saying that you were
Is
the
it-
outsider.
Is it because
yeah.
like we're? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Finish your thought. Dylan.
As an outsider coming into this, I hate to be that maybe just blunt person, but it's up to the outsider to reach out and make friends. Like I would have never gotten to know, like Rob, I would have never gotten to know you if we didn't play golf together. And I said, hey, will you come do this tournament with me? We would have never become friends if it wasn't for that. As outsiders, you have to be, and maybe that's just because I'm extroverted by nature. I love social interaction. I love bonding with people. I love getting to know people. As outsiders, we can't just sit there and hope that someone's going to come and say, hey, you want to hang out? Because a lot of times the people that want to hang out with you, you may not vibe with at all. And then you're like, well, gosh, if these are the only people that want to talk to me, I'm lost. You got to make the effort yourself to be able to reach out to people. And I mean, by the grace of God, Ben, you reached out to me. You started talking to me. Aaron, you started talking to me. We were both talking to each other during just at coffee right before church. I met him at golf, and then Benson I met honestly here. But
And broke his stopper.
And broke his topper.
first impressions were great.
Iron breaks cork.
Stoppers. Yeah.
Iron breaks cork. That's
Okay,
perfect.
just to throw this in, it is Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No.
Yes, who's in Angels in the Outfield.
Stop.
He's the little boy.
All right. What's the movie where the kid breaks his arm and then has like a rubber band arm?
Rookie of the year.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because that has the what's it like?
It's not Benny the Jet Rodriguez in that, but it's a kid that kind of looks like him.
No,
Angels in the outfield.
no. So
what I just said.
Rookie of the Year is the same kid that he's in later in a movie called it's like a something in King Arthur's Court. A kid in King Arthur's Court.
Yes.
Yeah, different kid.
That's the one I was thinking of.
What does he say when he hits him with the doctor in the nose? Though it's like something. Nerf herders. I can't remember. Anyway, sorry. Side or tangent. Like that.
Yeah, I would.
Thomas Ian Nicholas.
Okay.
Never heard of her.
Gary Busey's also in that.
Oh, that guy's
That's
very
right.
accomplished.
He was the general manager of it. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sure he makes some good
That's
calls.
a good-looking guy, Gary Busey. No.
He's got nicer teeth than me, so I can't complain.
So,
So it's because like dudes are just like we just hate like being vulnerable and like hey, I'm all messed up. Hey, you're all messed up too. Hey, you want to be buddy?
Yeah,
you want to be messed up
let's
together?
hang out.
So I think accountability is
You need to be accountable to yourself, especially as a new guy. You need to be accountable to yourself.
Do you think that even using the word accountability is like a turnoff though too? Like when you say, "Hey, you really need to be part of an accountability group."
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
You're like, no, I don't.
I don't want to submit to anybody here on earth.
You know,
Count it nothing.
but what's funny is like my first true guy accountability group I was ever in. So when I lived in Georgia, I was went to the River Church. Shout out Steve Wood, the pastor there, and I think he actually just retired. But we met at a guy's ranch Tuesday nights and drank bourbon, smoked cigars, and read the Word.
A dude ranch?
A dude ranch, yeah.
Nice.
But and so like and some I've been going for like 2 weeks, and the guy's like, yeah, we're going to do our accountability deal, and so we started going around the fire, and I'm like number 2, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just having a really hard time struggling with like trying to figure out the balance between work and family. I think I'm working too much. Like my only sin is I work too hard, right? And so
I care too much.
yeah,
What's changed? No, I'm
I
just
never
kidding.
delegate.
Just kidding.
But then, like, literally, like, the next guy's like, yeah, like, I'm struggling with, like, what I watch on the internet. Like, I got a porn addiction. The next guy's like, when I come home, I drink till I go to sleep. I drink to go to sleep. And I'm like, oh,
That's how that's supposed to
this
go.
is a little different than what I thought. And it, like, but, so, those guys, like, I mean, so we, like, from that night forward, we walked life together. Like, true life. Like, we walked, I mean, like, one dude, like, when I say we, like, found out a week later he had cancer, and for the next 3 years, like we walked with him every day for like to his death, and he died well, right? Like he had 6 months to live. He lasted 3 years. He watched his wife come to Christ. He watched all of his kids come to Christ. He met all of his grandkids. Like it was,
Amen.
like all this cool stuff.
Wow.
And so that was life, and it was the first time in my life, I'm using the word life a lot, that I ever experienced more than friendship. It was true brotherhood. You know what I mean? Like where it wasn't just like, oh man, it'd be cool to get together and hang out. Like, no, like I needed to get together and hang out. And so you're right, Rob. I think the word does turn a lot of people off, accountability. But when people actually experience it and have that, and the trust is there to have it,
Yeah.
it's way beyond anything that a worldly friendship
Yeah.
can be.
I'm not saying it shouldn't develop and it shouldn't be the goal, but when we just flat out call these groups by those types of names, like, I don't think I want to be a part of that. Right?
Yeah, guys get scared. They're like, I got better things to do. And it's
Yeah.
people not having the balls to deal with the fact that like
They're not
someone's gonna hold your nose to the fire and like let you know you're falling short, and they expect you to do the same back.
Well, and biblically speaking, there's 2 reasons why it's hard. One is the vulnerability, right? Sure. Which I guess is more the worldly side of it. But the biblical side is if you're going to hold people accountable, we got to remove the plank from our own eye before we worry about the speck of our brothers, right?
Yep.
And so that means that I've got to be on top of my game, my life, so much more because I now have a responsibility that I got to hold my brothers accountable to what's going on in theirs, and I can't look on what's going on with them if I can't figure out my own crap.
Yep.
You know, and so I was listening to the Locust and Honey podcast. I brought them up before,
You bet.
but
They sound like cool guys to collab with.
they are cool. We are going to collab with them.
Say what?
Yeah, like I've been talking to Cap.
Collaborate.
So Cap did call me and try to fool me that he's the ATF coming down on us. Yeah.
Did you tell him you lost your guns in a boating
Yeah,
accident?
no. He was funny because he called me. He's like,
ATF.
he's like, are you part of that Manhood Neat podcast?
That's how
I've
they-
been listening, and you guys talk about guns, you talk about alcohol, and you also talked about tobacco. That's why me with the ATF is getting ready to come on down, and you talk about Christ. That makes you a terrorist.
Have we talked
That's
about
how they
tobacco?
talk at the ATF.
We had
They're-
All of them.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Prerequisite,
okay.
isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We sound like the Branch Davidians when he talks like that.
Yeah. So no, we're going to talk. But anyways, their last episode was talking about judgment. You know, like judging others.
Judge Dredd.
Yeah, Judge Dredd.
Since we're talking
I
about
am the
movies.
law.
That's a great movie.
But
End of the weeker.
their description
It's a good
of
Wednesday.
when it talks about we're not called to judge, right? Mm-hmm. But then the whole spec, but it doesn't. The Bible doesn't say to remove the plank from your own eye and forget the dust in your brothers, but before, right? So you're still supposed to have a worry there. And their explanation of it, I thought was really good. They said that we as Christians are not judges, but we're attorneys. But what they mean by that is like, it's not my job to judge your heart, to judge your soul, whatever. But as an attorney, I know the law. I know what is right. I know what God's will, like I have a feeling of what God's will is. I shouldn't say I know it, but like I have an idea, like so walk in it. And so when we look at a person and say, hey, you're doing this, this is kind of where we should be. This is what is right. This is where morality line is. Let's get you there. And so it's not a judging the heart, not judging the soul, but a giving counsel because you know what is right.
That sounds like the HR department of like some corporation. If someone's fallen short on meeting their quotas, honestly, the way you talk about it,
and that's so difficult because you're as a human, your first offense is like, well, you're not doing it right, and it's just so easy to immediately just dismiss their critique of you because, again, you're only seeing, the little speck in their eye and not the plank in your own.
And then going back to the analogy of iron sharpening iron, like we were saying earlier, there's a certain angle to come at it, right?
22.5 degrees.
22.5 degrees.
Okay.
So 22.5 degrees. But like you said, if you're coming, but you guys were just saying earlier, like, you need to be doing this. That's coming at it at the wrong angle.
90. Yeah.
It's coming at that 90 or that 60 or that 8,
It would be like
anything
hey,
other than 22.5
I'm falling
degrees.
short here, but I see you doing it
Exactly. Yeah. So to the iron sharpening iron, if we're getting to the point where our angles towards each other are right, now we're sharpening each other and we're not just coming at and banging and clanging.
Right.
Yeah. Or if we're both in the same sin, then we're parallel and we're never right.
We don't sharpen anything.
That's right. We just hit the same.
Yeah.
There's going to be some banging and clanging, though. I mean,
there always is, right?
I'm coming at it from a different angle, probably.
Sure.
Than many of you at times, and I'm hoping to become sharper, man.
But it's the relationship though that we build that changes that angle. It's
You're a
not.
fillet knife, bud.
It's not about how, getting to know you, Ben. I know how you're going to come at me with something, right? Eventually, right? So okay, I'm ready for the blow. So I'm ready for the angle that's coming. Whereas if I don't know you and you come at me, it's like, well, where did this come from? This came out of left field. Baseball reference. Right? I mean, you know what I mean? So that's what happens when you build that relationship and that trust and that. Okay, I know how Ben's going to come at. I know how Nolar's going to come at me with, how he's going to talk to me with things. It's like, okay, I get it. That's just who he is. I mean, I don't know how many times you've ever defended somebody, like when they say something, like somebody, you ever heard that? Like somebody says, oh, so-and-so said this and this to me, and you're like, well, that's just who they are. That's how
they're a jerk.
Yeah. But you maybe you know them better.
It was me.
Right?
Damn it.
but you know them better. So you're like, well, that's just how they are. Have you ever defended somebody like that's just how that's just who that is? Well, it's because you know them better than that person, right? And they came at that person at that right angle, like you're saying, right? But to you, you're like, no, that's not who they are. That's not their heart. I know what their heart is.
Yeah, like Ben's a fillet knife. My best friend is a Louisville slugger. Like one is completely blunt, the other one is sharp and smooth.
Yeah.
And every time someone talks to him, they're like, dude's an absolute jerk. I'm like, no, he's just honest and blunt. Man. He's just honest and blunt. That's who he is.
We're ready for the angles of the person when we get to know him.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. That iron sharpening iron takes two things. It takes work and it takes intentionality. Sure. And so you have to have the intentionality of getting to know somebody and the work of walking life together. Otherwise, like you said, Rob, like, I mean, and I know for a fact, like one of my really good friends, Will Eccles, and I haven't talked to him for years now either. I'm really bad at keeping my friends after I move away. So if I leave guys,
so if you move,
I apologize.
All I've been known is that I am not a really good friend because I'm not brought up.
We're not letting
They're
that
all
happen.
in Georgia.
No, so Will's actually, so him and I were good friends out in western Nebraska. But he told me, he's like, when I first met you, I could not stand you. But after 2 years, I'm glad I know you.
2 years.
Yeah. So you guys are,
we're way ahead of the curve.
way ahead of the curve. No, but
I'm still figuring this out.
yeah. But basically because I mean, and like I recognize that my natural personality is a little bit grating to people. And so if you don't know me, because that's how it comes across. But with with work, like you're saying, we can learn that. We can learn, okay, this is their heart. Their mind's not there. Their words aren't there, but their heart is here. Right. And so I understand the angle they're coming at. And that angle is sharpening. But it takes a lot of work because you have to be invested in people.
Yeah.
And you have to be intentional in it. And so when we talk about iron sharpening iron in the Bible, I don't think it really means for everybody to sharpen everybody. It's going to be a select few you allow.
Sure.
No, if it was everybody sharpening everybody, it'd be like steel sharpens aluminum or like titanium sharpens steel. But it says iron sharpens iron. It's a select group sharpening a select group.
Dude, you're really speaking to me here because I feel like this is a huge part of my story, even just making it to Seward. I moved here 11, 12 years ago. My wife and I lived in Lincoln. We had 4 kids. Our life was crazy, and it was about work, and it was about making money and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, dude, we need to slow down. We need to get to a place like where we grew up. I mean, I grew up in a small town. My wife did. She grew up in a small town in Iowa. Shout out to Iowa. I came to Seward, and I just found people, just by the grace of God, I think that, I mean, sometimes you got to make these radical changes to find these people and to find these people who want to sharpen your iron too. Because I came to Seward, and all of a sudden I find a bunch of people at a church, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I love my wife too," and I try to be a good dad, and I try to balance this. But number one is my relationship with Jesus, and I wasn't where I needed to be 12 years ago, and so I met the right people, again by the grace of God, who started sharpening my dull ass iron, and I was clanging. I'm probably still clanging, but again,
You're filleting.
I'm thankful for you guys. I feel blessed by you, even by you, Aaron.
Even by you.
You can fillet a crappie like nothing.
Oh man. What?
So do you guys
Stop crying.
in your experiences? So there, I do think there's I just said it, so I do believe it. Intentionality in work, but once you find that group, do you think it comes natural, or do you think it's something you have to constantly be like on top of?
Are you talking the criticism? Or?
No, I'm talking about iron sharpening iron.
You gotta be on top of your criticism all the time, Dylan.
It's like it comes naturally when you get to know people.
No, I was blessed growing up with some really close friends, and not that they were godly friends, but close friends that I did life with, right? And even if we were apart, we come back together, we pick right back up where we left off. Even today, I could probably go,
Thank God.
just kind of pick up, where you leave off with them, and they know you, you know them, like they know your life growing up. So there's no secrets, right? There's someone you can be real with. But what I noticed whenever I moved to a new location and had to, like you said, to Ben's point, like move to another location where you have to now all of a sudden, what came naturally because I grew up with these guys, I'm like, why am I missing this? Why doesn't this just happen like it did, right? Mm-hmm. No, it's like, to your point, it's work. You have to seek it out, and you have to do it yourself. You have to be willing to be vulnerable and say, okay, I don't do this well. Let's go hang out. Let's go play golf. Let's go have coffee. Let's just try. You know what I mean? It's like, just give it a shot, right? With hanging out with somebody, saying, all right, hey, this dude seems like somebody I could maybe get to know, and let's go have coffee. Are they cool? And most people, I mean, I know I would, somebody asked me for coffee or something, but yeah, let's go. Let's see. Let's just hang out and find out. But it takes work after that, right? And that's probably the hardest thing, right? We would rather take the easy road of saying I'm too busy, or my life's too crazy right now, or whatever, insert excuse here,
right?
Than work at a relationship outside of what's comfortable to us each day, right?
Yeah, like golfing or drinking bourbon or something like that. That's the easy stuff. But like
shooting,
the shooting's easy.
Yeah.
Like the discussions.
I've heard how you guys shoot. I don't know if it's that easy for you. I'm just kidding.
2 in the chest, 1.
I got a dueling tree. Let's go out. Yeah, let's go to the range.
But the hard part then is, again, like that deeper stuff. Like I feel blessed again by you guys. A lot of that relationship building just happened at the back of the church. Standing there in between services or whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's one thing I do think is special about the church that we go to. In my many years of going to churches, have experienced none of that. And by many years, I mean not many. But The few churches.
Wait, did you grow up atheist?
Yeah.
The few.
You went to churches?
Yes, I went to.
You're exactly on the same plane as we are, though. You
Yeah.
caught up really fast.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I'm still.
It's either saved or
he's in
not.
the gifted program.
It's saved or not saved. You're saved, brother.
I'm in the. There's a reason I'm the young guy in this group, and that's to get knowledge from y'all. But
Man, you're in deep.
You're in trouble, dude.
Yeah.
no, I just the previous churches I have been to, people like you try to make a conscious effort, and everything seemed very superficial. Everybody was too worried about themselves to try to make anything happen. And like you said, back at the back of the church in between services, that's where I've met, I would say, a good 90% of my friendships I actually have today. I have 3 solid friends from my childhood who like can never be replaced. But everybody else has honestly come from our church. Yeah, I've known people my entire lives, and I would say I'm closer to you 4 or you. Well, Benson was here. You 4, you 3 than I am 99% of those people, and it's all because there's just something special about our church where guys are not afraid to say, "Hey, we need to get together," or like just spend 10 minutes to get to know you. And then if you don't vibe, you don't vibe. That's okay.
Yeah. And I would say, like, I mean, our church, I'm blessed there, but I don't want to put it on a pedestal either. Like, there's a lot of good churches out there.
I think what's refreshing about our church, having gone to other churches, is the vulnerability that a lot of people are willing to put themselves out there. And I think it comes from a lot of the hurt that people have had in other in their past. Our church, for whatever reason, by God's grace, has brought a lot of people who have been hurt in other places. And we're all willing to say, I've been hurt, whatever it is in life and in church, or what, not just churches, but, in life in general, and be vulnerable and just say, hey, I'm sucking at this. I need help. And then other people come alongside and say, yeah, hey, I hear you. That's me too. Let's go have coffee. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's iron sharpening iron.
Exactly.
Which, and I would say, if you're the listener to this conversation,
We have the best church ever, so you guys should be jealous.
Yeah, 100%.
You should move to Seward, Nebraska.
that's not what I was
If
gonna
y'all
say.
don't come to Seward, Nebraska,
Move to
y'all are
Seward,
missing
Nebraska.
out.
What I was gonna
For
say-
real.
We have no homes here to buy, by the
Be
way.
a giant.
I've got one house coming up for
Yes,
sale
there you
that you
go.
can buy.
Yeah.
Highest bidder takes it.
I got
That's a
room.
fact.
I got a couple extra rooms in my house.
Yeah. No. So if you are a listener to this conversation and you are truly looking to be sharpened by fellow iron, right? So you're looking for a brother, you're looking for a Jonathan, you're looking for a group of guys. If you bring it to God and say, hey, I need to find these guys, and you walk into a biblical teaching, God fearing church, you will find those guys. It might be a little hard, but you'll find them. And I know it's because I've been to all over this country, and whenever I've been looking for dudes, I found them. I mean, in the lowest of my low, like I had a guy bring me in, let me move into his house. Like, I mean, this like before I was married, and I had to be his maid basically, but like, just bring me and restore me back to sharpen me back up for my faith. I mean, to the point that my little boy's name is named after this guy, right? It's Akash after him. Cool. And so, like, God will bring this into your life. So, like, yes, I don't want to, I do love our church. I do love what we have, but I don't want it to, at the same time, God works in all different congregations throughout this country.
It's not our church. It's God.
It
God.
totally is.
It
It's
is.
God.
I don't mean to put it on such a pedestal. That's just my truth,
Yeah.
That's just my.
You're just right where you need to be then.
That's,
Dude.
It's just the place that I've come where I'm like, wow.
Yeah. But the biggest thing is the only way to have a true Jonathan or Jonathans is via God. Like, it takes supernatural intervention into a friendship, but God does require us to put in the work and to put in the intentionality to do it.
Yep.
And then there's nothing else like it. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like, I mean, you can have war buddies, you can have work buddies, you can have whatever. It's not the same as a brother in Christ. It just won't be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go out and
that's-
find yourself a brother in Christ.
Yep.
Or 5.
That's right. Or 10 or 20. I don't
Just
know.
Yeah.
make sure it's one that doesn't run away to the Dominican Republic on you.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Jeez. We love you, Ben.
We love you,
tell you
Benson.
what.
Yeah.
Benson.
All right, guys. You got anything else for close it down for the night?
Just
I
remember,
think-
22 and a half degrees is the perfect plane to sharpen iron.
22 and a half?
22 and a half. They say take 45, cut it in half, and that's the perfect way to sharpen your blade.
You know how you find that? 2 quarters stacked on top of each other.
Amen.
Really?
Amen.
Yeah. You gotta. I'll teach you after the podcast.
Okay. I got a knife to sharpen.
He's got a couple of
if you give
knives
me
hanging on the
that
wall.
knife up
There you
there,
go.
I will sharpen it even more than it already is.
That's a stabbing knife.
It's so sharp.
Yes. It's for stabbing people in the heart.
It's also probably good for cutting up.
It's supposed to be all
Yeah,
It's a beautiful knife.
rickety.
it is. It's from a better one. We'll talk about that later. All right, guys. Rob, you want to close this prayer?
I will. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time together. We thank you for being able to bring us together. We just pray that the words that we have spoken that are of truth fall, and the ones that are fall on hearts, and the ones that were of just nonsense, just in one ear and out the other. We just thank you for this time together. We thank you for our friends all over the world listening in other places and times. And we just thank you and give you all the glory for everything. In your name we pray, Jesus.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. We just really appreciate you joining us tonight, and we'll catch you next time on the Manhood Neat podcast.